Okay, so understanding the quantum physics behind how things work really starts to set off light bulb moments as far as to how powerful we are and just how much everything we need is already here and exists. I'm going to go into explaining some of these things to you just to start setting off these light bulbs and to transfer these codes back to you that have always meant to been your birthright to understand and to know. Let's take the way a recording of your voice works. How does your voice get from this side of the world all the way to the other side of the world? It's actually very simple when we break it down, right? When you talk, your voice sends out a pattern, right? It's an energetic wave. And that wave has a certain blueprint. So no matter what you do, that form of that wave is going to sound like you. All of the inflections, all of the intention, all of the emotion, all of it, it's going to sound like you because of the way that the wave is formed. Now, how does that wave move? What is it made up of? It's basically just energy moving through the air, pulling molecules together and pushing them apart. Simple as that. And it forms a wave that is unique to whatever it is that you just did. So that travels through if you're speaking into a microphone. It travels into that microphone and hits a very thin, what they call a diaphragm, but really it's just a really thin piece of material, usually silicone, that vibrates very easily. So it's going to vibrate at the same blueprint that voice wave was in. It's like a blueprint. That voice wave is a blueprint of exactly what you sound like. That thing that wiggles is going to wiggle at the exact same interval and vibration as your wave. So it's basically going to wiggle. It's like a relay race. The blueprint is handing the vibration through the little wiggler. And that thing wiggles, right? And then it hits a little coil, right? And that coil, because it's in an electromagnetic field, there's just basically a magnet there and a piece of wire. That's all it is. That little piece of wire starts to vibrate because that other thing was vibrating. It's attached to the wire. So now that wire is now vibrating in the exact same code or blueprint or vibration as that wave, right? Because there's a magnet next to it, it creates electricity. That's all electricity is, a magnet and a wire. Electrons, the very smallest building blocks of everything in the world are atoms. Within every atom are electrons. Electrons get excited when something starts moving back and forth. There's electrons already there in the wire because everything's made up of atoms and there's electrons in everything everywhere all the time. Those electrons, basically because of that wire moving, those electrons get excited and they're like, oh shit, time to move. That's how electricity is created. But you have that pattern, that's your voice, your blueprint of that vocal recording or of that vocal thing you just said is vibrating, right? Those electrons start moving, they start vibrating in the exact rhythm of that blueprint, of that vocal thing you just said. So now that's how it's getting turned into an electronic wave. The electricity is already being created with the electrons moving. But now the electrons are moving that have created electricity are moving in the same rhythm as your voice. Right? Now let's take a phonograph because that's the easiest way to It's all analog, it's not digital. So basically, as the thing is moving, it goes through and it is connected to the, here, let me get my train of thought. Okay, so the little thing that cuts the grooves in the vinyl, it's called a cutting wedge or something like that. I don't remember the name of it. But it starts moving. The electrons, basically the electricity starts going, and because that wave is exactly the same, that energy is exactly the same wave, it starts vibrating the little thing that cuts the vinyl in that same pattern, and it cuts the wax in that same pattern, in that circle, all the way around, long lines of information, until it spirals all the way into the middle. Then, now that rhythm has been recorded. Fascinating, right? Now, how do you play that back? Because that blueprint or that code, no matter where it goes, that vibration, even if it's just, written on wax, is still going to sound like you, because it's a unique wave. It's going to sound like your voice. All the elements in the universe make it sound like you. So when you take a little stylus and you put it on that thing, it's basically just a little thin thing that vibrates. It's going to hit that little thing that vibrates at that same exact blueprint of that sound wave, and it's going to hit that, and it's going to move, and that's going to move the arm of the record player, and then that arm of the record player is going to hit a diaphragm, which is basically a thin piece of thing that wiggles at the same exact blueprint of the wave, and then it's attached to the horn, right? The horn is shaped to where it takes the sound wave and it makes it louder by the way that the horn is shaped, and that vibrational blueprint hits that horn, and there you have your voice again. It's like done. It's like goes in the same way that it comes out. And there you have your voice. Think about this. That's how a phone works. It records your voice. It sends it through wires all the way across underneath the ocean, and then plays it back to that person almost in like an instant. And that's why we have latency sometimes, because it takes a little while for that to get to there. But the more we learn, the next one I'll do is how photos work, how a photo works. It's fascinating. And once you start seeing this, you start to be like, holy shit. Everything is so much more just like logical and simple and exact on how it works, and it makes it a lot more easy to understand how sound healing works, right? How your thought is a wave, how that works. How I can just be like, oh, I'm gonna do a reading for so-and-so, okay? Show me everything that so-and-so needs to know about this. I just state it. I don't go anywhere, I don't do anything, I just state it, and automatically I get all the information for that person. Seems like it's magic, but it's not. It's waves. And it's very simple in the way that it all is. So I wanted to share that, and I'm going to come on here and try to share more as I learn more, to really just get this information out there, because the more we share this information, the more we set all of ourselves free and set off these light bulbs and return these codes to ourselves that have always been rightfully ours to understand and to know.